behind him, and he looks up, boom, he gets fucking nommed down by a liquor, Chad. Its big old tongue slurps him up, you know, all of his white thickness, Chad. He's like, oh, oh. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. Pleasure to have you here. Welcome to stream. We're going to be jumping into my spoiler review, my scene by scene breakdown of Raccoon City, welcome to Raccoon City. Or excuse me, Resident Evil, welcome Raccoon City, welcome to Raccoon City. You know that movie. Resident Evil, welcome to Raccoon City. After that, we'll be playing some Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we'll be ending with some multiplayer shenanigans in Halo Infinite and some Jackbox party packs. Any positive? Yes, there are positives. Yes. I'll talk about some of the positives, Danny. I have some. I took note of a few things. I'm like, I like that. That was interesting. That was cool. That was a funny little scene. We'll talk about you. Read the Netflix live action series. Corey mentioned Wesker's a freaking. He's a soccer dad. He drinks kombucha. He's a soccer dad. Yep, he has 2 daughters. Honestly, that's not too far off from this Wesker. I mean, I don't know why. Like, we'll talk. I'm getting ahead of myself. Chat. You know, for this review. I mean, maybe I should just do my overall impressions of the movie. You know, I mean, you know, no, when I get to certain scenes, because I'm just doing this all from memory, Chat. I don't have any fucking notes. I just saw this today. I was like, what I have to say is what's on my mind, Chat. That's what you're gonna get. I'm just going to do as much as I can from fucking memory. Honestly, the thing is, though, Chet, to be truthful, there's just this. How long is this film? Because it feels really short. But also long. It's 107 minutes, Chet. So it's about an hour 40. A little like about an hour 40. It's funny because even though it's, you know, it's under 2 hours, it still feels really long. But at the same time, it's also short, too. Because I just don't spend. That's the thing. There's so little going on. So much of it is just talking, exposition, and people saying what they want to do or what they're going to do. And then when we do get to an action scene, it happens so quick, and it's not really done all that well for the most part. There are some exceptions. But it's again, what it comes down to is my biggest concern. My biggest concern, my biggest fear came to fruition. It came true, Chat. And it was such a huge mistake to combine Resident Evil 1 and 2 into one movie. Because there's just so much material in each game that they just don't appropriately cover any of it when we cut back and forth between the two different groups in this movie, Chat. You actually, sometimes you spend so much time with one group, you forget, oh shit, the mansion. Oh yeah, they're going to the mansion too. Like, this movie mostly favors the stuff happening in Raccoon City than, you know, like the Resident Evil 2 storyline, than Resident Evil 1 storyline. Like, the Resident Evil 1 thing, it's like, it's there, but that's it's very secondary, Chat. You know, Claire is, clear. I mean, based on the poster, based on the marketing, she is the main character of the movie, and it's mostly her story, and all the Resident Evil 1 stuff, it's like, it's there, but it's not the focus. That's the secondary storyline. But across the board, all the characters suffer because they've spread themselves way too thin. They just didn't have the money for it either, Chad. You can fucking tell. The very scenes where I'm going to get to, how, hey, we're at the police station, we're in the mansion, and they make the mansion so fucking dark that, okay, this is obviously the same room we've been in multiple times, but it's so dark, and we've just redressed it to a certain degree, changed it around a little bit. And the police station, the only place we stay at that front desk. We're at that front desk with Leon, and then after that, we're in some trailer or something, where it's like, this clearly is not shot in the police station. This isn't like one of those trailers, like the Stars, you know, headquarters, which is in the Raccoon City Police Department. It's like, this isn't the same building. Don't fucking lie to me. They got carpeted floors. Like, this is a trailer. I know what this is. Like in a construction yard, trying to bamboozle me, Chad. Marvin's not in it. No, Barry, I thought Barry was going to be, no, Barry's not in it, Marvin's not in it. And the thing is, though, I'm kind of glad because there are too many characters in this movie. There are too many characters and not enough time spent on any one of them. And most of the time, they're just regurgitating exposition. Umbrella did this, Umbrella did that, Umbrella did this to me. And that's Otis. That is Claire. Anytime she's on, she's like, let me tell you about Umbrella. It's like, we didn't ask Claire. She's like, I'm going to tell you anyway, all right? I'm having a traumatic flashback right now, all right? And you need to know about Umbrella. I'm like, Claire, but we did ask. I'm going to tell you. Chris, he's a blank fucking slate, which he kind of always is. He's very much a dude, bro. Punching boulders and shit in this movie. I'm getting ahead of myself. I gotta ask you, Chad. I gotta do this review properly, Chad. I am doing a spoiler review, a scene by scene breakdown for Resident Evil, heavy emphasis on that, Chad. Welcome to Raccoon City. It just came out this past week, this past Tuesday, Chad, for the Thanksgiving weekend. It is currently a critical disaster, and it's looking to be also a commercial disaster, Chad. The lowest entry, I guess, in the Resident Evil film franchise, if you will, along of counting the other films, Chad. Like, no one gives a shit about this movie, and probably for good reason, Chad. It's not gonna say it's not worth seeing. I'll get to that at the end, but before I continue on, Chad, I have to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen Resident Evil, heavy emphasis on that, Chad. Welcome to Raccoon City. And he punched the boulder? No boulder punching. Though apparently the director said he wanted to have a scene like that, but they just didn't have the time. I saw it's a rental, says Jason, because there's no, and I'm probably not going to. King Kodiak, nope, and don't wanna. Also, this movie came out in theaters. It did. Came out in theaters. They even say only in theaters. In the trailers and stuff. Lisa, nope. Jesse Risher, I have seen it. Glee, well, based in the box office. None of us saw it. No one saw it. No one went out to see this movie. As of not yet, doubt I ever will. Thunderleaf, fuck this movie. Bill Casey, Resident Evil protagonists in general, a kind of blank slate. We'll talk about that. Her work. I took an update. Time well spent. Time well spent. You didn't need to go see Resident Evil. Danny, nope. So I know. Now I'll be spoiled. Yeah, I'll just spoil you. I mean, there's not much to spoil, really. Because not a lot happens in the movie, surprisingly. I saw the movie. The characters weren't all that well done, but I was glad they kind of tried to stick true to some aspects of the games. Mr. Yasmin, I haven't, I wouldn't. Yes. Sounds like a pie. Yes. I just started Person Man's. Welcome to stream. I'd say low rental. It's not make fun of bad, but it's not good. It's just boring. That's the problem. That's the problem with the movie. It's boring. Oops, pile of shit. Oh, pile of pie. A pile of pie. I love it. It reminds you to buy a PS5. Yeah, I have to add every single fucking trailer. It's a Sony movie. So, like, buy a PS5 controller because you can't buy the console right now. Very true. So Ghostbusters said, how was Ghostbusters, Danny? How was Ghostbusters? I want to see that too, but again, I've heard mixed things about it. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't know. Yeah, the PS controller is advertised. Like every Sony movie trailer is like, why? Why not the console? You can't obtain them. So yes, chat. Well, of course, I have seen this movie. I went to the theater. I paid to see this film with my hard-earned cash, chat. Saw it around noon. It was the first screening of the movie that day, chat. Audience was, the theater, I would say, was an eighth filled, not a lot of people in the theater that day, chat. People were probably busy seeing something like Ghostbusters, which is doing a lot better. I think that's like number one the box office right now, and probably will be this weekend as well. But there were a few people, and I will say I had a very interesting theater experience at first because the movie starts and it's doing a bunch of creepy shit, in the beginning. Like in the orphanage, which is weird because they retcon certain things. I don't remember, but are Chris and Claire, were they orphans? Were they always orphans, like in the games? I don't know what their background history is, but in the movie they're orphans, right? And they go to the same orphanage that's in Resident Evil 2 and 3. And I thought it was very funny because Lisa Trevor is in the beginning of the film, and I guess Umbrella just lets this weird hunchback abomination woman just wander around the city. Like, she goes everywhere. It's like, does anyone, put a fucking bell on her? Like, she's traveling around. constantly walking back and forth, using the secret tunnels, showing up, going down. It's like Lisa Trevor, she gets around. I mean, I know that the fucking Spencer Mansion and Raccoon City are miles apart. Like they show, it's like, okay, it's Raccoon City, but it's far away. And it's like apparently she gets there like that. This movie should be called Lisa's Day Out, because she is fucking everywhere in this town. She shows up just when you need her. But it was funny because, you saw in the trailers like that spooky scene of her in the orphanage and stuff. And it's funny because I had an audience member who I guess was with his wife. And all I'll say is, they were a black man and a black woman. And he literally, and I'm not being racist. He legitimately said, when you see the creepy Lisa Trevor hands going for like little baby face Claire, like, and he goes, "Ah, hell no!" And I'm like, I can't believe it. It's happening. It's happening. Cancel. I'm not canceled. I'm just telling you what I heard. He went, "Ah, hell no," and he kind of did that for a little while in like I would say like the first 20 minutes of the movie, and eventually he just stopped doing it because literally nothing happens, and then the whole audience started to turn on the film chat. Like people were just groaning and just like they were bored and things, and like one guy said, "This fucking sucks." So Chris, I'm telling you the truth, Stefan. I'm telling you the truth. It literally, we went, "Oh hell no." I was like, "Oh my God, is Will Smith here? Holy shit." Primetime Porter seems sus. Listen, it happened. I'm not fucking joking. The thing is, though, he stopped doing that because even he got fucking bored. So I thought, like, I would have liked that. You know what? I'm like, okay, this is going to be great because he's going to be doing all this shit. It's going to add comedy to the fucking movie. I can't wait. But literally, any booing? I wouldn't say booing. People were just going, I heard one guy say, "This fucking sucks." I just heard one guy say that. A lot of people just being quiet for the most part. I would have appreciated if people were going, "Ah, hell no," and like, "Don't go in there." Like, that would have been more fun. That would have been more fun because there's not a lot of scenes. Like, because eventually you're just like, you're just fucking bored. Because most of this movie, chat, I'm not lying. It's just exposition. It's all the characters kind of just talking to each other, talking about how bad Umbrella. That is clear. So, there's too many characters in the film. And the film opens up with a young Claire Redfield and a young Chris Redfield. Chris, much like how he is when he's older, he's a fucking blank slate. There's nothing to him. Claire gets scared living at the creepy Raccoon City orphanage because they experiment on all the fucking kids. And she always crawls into Chris's bed and they cuddle and shit. But like, and like, "I'm going to protect you, sister." She's like, "I know, big brother." Even though it's weird. I'm not like talking shit about the actress. I actually like the actress who plays Claire Redfield. But she looks older than the actor who plays Chris Redfield when they are adults. It's kind of weird to me. I mean, maybe just she's just more mature, and she's so fucking serious, and she's got a huge chip on her shoulder throughout the entire movie. Just like, "Umbrella did this to me, he did this to us, he destroyed my relationship with my brother." And Chris, he's constantly jerking off to Umbrella. He loves Umbrella. He's like, "They put me through school, they gave me this job. I mean, fucking look at me." Like, he's all about it, and Claire's like, "I don't like him." But he does nothing in the movie. You forget he's in it. Out of all the characters, it's funny. The person who is even more dude bro than Chris Redfield, surprisingly, is Albert Wesker. Albert Wesker, just that sleek, cool. I mean, slick back hair. Villain, wears the sunglasses and shit. He just oozes that villainous cool. He's a frat guy in this movie. I'm not joking. He's a frat guy. He's not even drinking. I wish he was drinking kombucha. That would have been at least a little bit closer. But he's like some frat guy that pulls pranks and stuff and makes bets with people. That's what he does. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And like, yeah, there's the betrayal, but the betrayal just feels so underwritten. It's like, really? That's it? That's his whole thing with him? Okay. All right, like, yeah, all the big reveals and a lot of this, like the monster reveals and stuff, with the exception of one, I thought was kind of subtle and cool. How they did it was interesting to me. But it's all like, oh yeah, like I'll tell you right now, Chad, with Wesker, his whole thing, I was contacted by this organization that's called, I'm not joking, chat, The Organization. That's the evil organization name. It's literally called, not even Umbrella, it's called The Organization, and they paid me a lot of money. And that's why I'm going to kill all you guys, but I'm going to feel kind of bad about it. Like, he is legitimately, like, friends. He's his best friend is Chris Redfield. He clearly has Jill wants to fuck Wesker so bad in this movie. He's like, I'll go with you, Wesker. I'm gonna go with you. Like, and what Chris is like, oh, because he really likes Jill, but Jill doesn't. She thinks of him. You're like more of like a big brother to me, Chris. That's what you are to me. And she wants that Wesker D chat so bad, and she's very betrayed by like Wesker movie. But like, you don't buy the big betrayal with him. It's like, because his whole excuse is, I just got to get out of this shithole town. I need the money, baby. I need the money, and I guess. He's contacted, and he's like, listen, steal the G-Virus for us. So he's not even connected. So people are like, wait, isn't he part of Umbrella? No, he's not even a part of Umbrella at all. Like, it's some other organization. He's actually stealing from Umbrella. He has more in common with Samuel L. Jackson's character Gator from Jungle Fever than he does with Albert Wesker from the original games. Literally, he's more Gator than Wesker now, Chad. That's what he is. Well, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing, Chad. So we got to get back to the beginning. I'm spreading myself too thin, much like this movie. But the movie starts, and Claire and Chris, they're in bed, and they're sleeping and snuggling and shit. And then Lisa Trevor walks in because I don't know. Again, now it makes sense why Umbrella doesn't have their shit together, because they're not keeping track of this hunchback woman who is literally going from the Spencer Mansion all across Raccoon City. She's going everywhere, and I guess also the Nest, which is one of the underground, the super secret laboratory that's underground Raccoon City, which you literally own, which is a room, by the way. It's literally a room. When you think of the Nest in Resident Evil 2, that huge fucking complex shit with all the experiments going on there, no, it's a fucking room. It looks like a doctor's office, like a pediatrician or something like that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But she's walking around the orphanage, and no one hears her. These kids are all fucking deaf. But Claire's the only one that kind of knows her, and like Lisa's like, friend. And she's squealing like this, like, friend, Claire. And Claire walks up, he goes, hello? And then Lisa's like, friend. And she, like, goes down a hallway, and Claire's like, Chris, wake up. It's that weird girl. She came back. He's like, go back to bed, Claire. You're dreaming again. He's like, no, it's real, Chris. It's real. And so she gets out of her bed. And she goes in the little play area where fucking Lisa made herself a little tent fort, and she's doing weird. She has like a fucking creepy doll that has a glowing head that's spinning around. It's like, who bought these fucking toys, chat? And she's like, my friend. And then Claire's like, hello? And then, Lisa turns off the doll's head, like, cuts it off. And Claire's like, again, her fight or flight instincts have not kicked in yet, so she goes towards the tent. And she sits down, and she goes, what's your name? And, like, Lisa puts out her gnarled, fucked up hands, and she has, like, a tag, which, by the way, Claire also has it. Claire and Chris have it. It's like this little medical tag around their arms. And it says, Lisa Trevor. And she goes, Lisa, that's a pretty name. And then she's like, where are you from? Where do you live? And then Lisa, she takes out like a sheet of paper and she writes out below the orphanage. And she's like, below, what's down there? And Lisa's like, shh, Claire must stay safe. And then she pulls a Batman, like literally we hear like something fall over like across the play area, and then by the time Claire like turns her head around, Lisa just fucking vanishes. Now I'm sorry, but I don't believe that this hunchback abomination woman has the same stealth skills as Batman, Chad, who was trained by fucking ninjas and the League of Assassins. Like, it didn't happen, but that's her MO. She constantly fucking pulls a Batman in this movie. So she's just gone. You have no idea what happened. And then fucking, little Claire, she goes inside the tent looking for the hunchback Lisa, but then she's pulled out by Birkin, played by, what's his name? You see this guy all the fucking time, chat. Neil McDonough. He was also in Legend of Chun-Li. He played M. Bison. But he plays Dr. Birkin, and, he's like, oh, little girl, what are you doing here? And he goes, I saw, like, this girl named Lisa. And he goes, oh, don't worry about her. We just let her out, and she goes wherever the hell she wants to. It's like, you're running a top-secret facility. Why are you letting the hunchback? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, chat. And he's like, what's your name again? And she goes, my name's Claire. And then Chris Redfield comes over. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Birkin. That's my sister. And he takes her hands, like, we'll go back to bed. And he's like, oh. And he literally stops and he says, oh, Claire, Chris, you don't happen to be Claire and Chris Redfield? And they literally stop and they say, she goes, yep. My name is Claire Redfield. And then Chris says, yep, my name is Chris Redfield. We get it. I know. Those are the characters in the games. I know. And he goes, Chris, you're an awfully good big brother to take care of your sister like that. Well, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, why don't you go and get some sleep? I'll see you in the morning, Chris and Claire Redfield. And they're like, okay, Dr. Birkin, bye. And they fucking go back to bed. And Birkin's like, if you make it until morning. It's like, that's not going to happen. Eventually, they go back to bed. And then I think, like, Birkin, he comes back with, like, this creepy nurse who was watching the Golden... Like, this nurse, throughout the beginning of the movie, just watching Golden Girls and losing her fucking shit. Oh, my God, she loves B. Arthur Chen. She loves Betty White. I mean, they're great. I mean, Betty White's goddamn national treasure, chat, so I get it. But, you know, she's in evil mode now. She's like, I can't be in Golden Girls mode. I gotta be in evil mode. And so they grab and get Claire Redfield. And, like, Birkin's like, hey, Claire, I have a special surprise for you. And she goes, what is it? He's like, we have a family who's going to adopt you right now. And she's like, it's literally like 2 in the morning. Why would they be here at 2 in the morning? He's like, you shouldn't ask so many questions. Why don't you come with us? And so they take her, chat, and then he just smiles evilly. Woo! And then we cut. And adult Claire Redfield is in the truck from the famous RE2 truck with the truck driver. She wakes up and literally... The truck driver's dialogue is, she like wakes up screaming. He goes, oh my God, girl, take it easy. You almost made me shit myself. I mean, like, you wouldn't believe it. Looks like you scared the shit out of yourself, but I'm eating over here. And he has that one shot of them just stuffing his face with that cheeseburger. And he's like, what'd you say your name was again? Oh, yeah, Claire Redfield. Why are you out here at night? Oh, yeah. You told me that you're going back to Raccoon City. What a dump. You know, Umbrella Corporation, they're leaving that place. And you said your brother, what was his name? Oh, yeah, Chris Redfield. They put him through school, college, and now he works for the RPD. That's the Raccoon City Police Department. Oh, yeah. Like, that is the dialogue we're working with in this movie, chat. Exposition heavy. Letting you guys know what the characters' names are, what the setting is, the events, the time period, what all this, that were in the 90s. They were in the 90s. Name drops and a half. Everyone's getting a name drop, even though it's not necessary. That's all this. The truck driver, oh my fucking God. He cannot fucking act. He's one of, I'm uncomfortable watching the movie because I don't mean to hate on the guy. You know, it's also the direction, the writing too. I mean, when you're trying to fucking sell this kind of dialogue and you're going, oh yeah, your brother, oh yeah, the RPD. I'm like, repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually he runs out of exposition. He's getting horny. He's hungry and he's horny. Also, he has the Doberman Pinscher in his car, which is the famous dog, you know, in Resident Evil that mutates in the zombie dog, in Resident Evil 1, etc., and 2, and everything. And that his dog's back there. Which is not from the original game, but they're like, this director, this Johannes Roberts, who I looked up his filmography beforehand, did a lot of direct-to-DVD horror movies and things, and I guess he did the shark, they're these great white shark movies. I think they're called like 47 Meters Down. I think there's been 2 of them. So he did, though. I think that was his big claim to fame, was doing those 2 movies, and I think that's what got him Resident Evil, because it's a passion of his. He says he loves the games. And so he's trying to cram in as many references as possible into this film. And he's like, even if there's no rhyme or reason, he's just like, I'm just going to combine everything I can from these first 2 games. And boom, there it is. So the dog is there with the truck driver. And Claire is also with him, which is not from the original game, as far as I recall. But she's in there, and he's getting horny at this point. After you deliver a lot of exposition, chat, and after you've eaten a very greasy cheeseburger, you get horny. Okay, this is what happens. And so he's like, "Hey, so how are you gonna end up paying for this ride? Oh, I know a way you can do it. Grabs the inner thigh check, grabs that meaty Claire Redfield inner thigh, right? And he's not paying attention to the road check, because then we see this fucking zombie girl walk out, and she's like, the road! He's like, ah! And he was too horny and too filled with cheeseburger and too distracted to realize then that there was a girl in the road, and it's always raining in this movie, just hard fucking rain. And he hits this girl so goddamn hard, she actually explodes on the goddamn grill of the fucking truck, chat. Eventually, she stops and she rolls off and she flies off and she's all broken and nasty looking. Claire gets out of the goddamn car and she looks down at a girl and she's like, oh my God, she's fucking dead. And the truck driver, all he says at this point is, fuck me, fuck. That's all he says at this point. And he's like, oh, fuck, what we gonna do? I mean, you saw her, that fucking girl, she ran right on the fucking road. I didn't know what the fuck to do. And she's like, fucking calm down, man. I've already said like fuck at least 20 times in the movie so far. We're barely 10 minutes in. And she's like, listen, my brother's a cop. We can go and report this. It's fine. He's like, whoa, your brother's a cop. You didn't tell me that. Literally told you that in the car. You said it yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And while they're going back and forth and arguing, the zombie girl literally gets up, chat, and just walks away. You would think like, oh, she's going to attack one of them. She's like, no. She's like, I got hit by a fucking truck. Most of my front meat is still on the truck, the hood of the truck. I got to get out of here. And she just waddles off, chat. None of them notice this. And the dog's barking, and he's like, I want some of that zombie meat down there. That looks delicious. And so it gets out of the car, and it just starts lapping up all the zombie blood and meat. It's like, this is a fucking smorgasbord. Delicious. And eventually, the owner's like, get your ass back in the car now. Come on. Dog gets back in the car. Dog's already looking weird. And it has like, there's a lot of awful CGI in the film. And it has like, why couldn't we just make the dog's mouth like a little foamy or something? But they have this constant like fake saliva coming down the dog's mouth for the rest of the movie. And it just looks and it's like a constant drip. It's like, I don't think it'd be dripping like that all the time. There's no foam, just water. It's like, come on, it looks like an After Effects. But the dog gets back in the car, and he's like, well, if you want to stay out there, because then she's like, well, where'd the fuck the girl go? And he's like, I don't care. It's not my business, not my responsibility. Now, if you want to go out of the woods and get her, then be my guest, but I'm getting the fuck out of here. And so he gets back in the car, and Claire literally spots the girl in the woods just kind of standing there, but she's like really derpy now. I mean, she was already derpy because she was a zombie, but now she got hit by a fucking semi-truck, chat, and so she's extra derp. And then, boom, we cut to Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Boy, it's great to have you in Raccoon City. Welcome to our lovely town. It's not lovely, chap. Because this isn't a city. This is not a city. Like, the biggest building in the city is literally the police station. It's fucking huge. And it's just a really shitty-looking town. So they kind of set it up that Raccoon City was established in 1939. It was the home location of the Umbrella Pharmaceutical Company, and Umbrella is pulling out. They're like, fuck this place. We're leaving. We're gonna set up a shop somewhere else. And they went like, our contingency plan is we're just going to poison the entire town and then blow it up. Like, there's no nuclear. I'll tell you right now, there's no nuclear missile that comes in. Like, now the government's like, fuck this, we need to contain this before this spreads. No nuclear missile. They just somehow, it's not explained at all. They've set up massive earthquake making devices across the city, I assume, in the surrounding area and the mansion stuff. It's not really an explosion per se. It's just more like, we're gonna just earthquake this shit and it'll all sink into this giant sinkhole. That's what it is. And it's like, all right. But it's not a city. It's just like a shitty town in the Midwest. You know, there's like, it's got nothing for it. And I think at one point, like, because we cut from Claire, and now we're in a really shitty motel. We're introduced the character of Leon. Let me tell you, like, Claire's whole character in this movie, she's the main character, but most of what she does is deliver exposition and talk about how much she hates Umbrella. You know, and that's it. That's literally all she fucking does. Leon, I will say, he has the most personality in the movie. I mean, he's nothing like Claire is nothing like her character in the original film. Almost like with Claire, it's funny because I was watching the movie, I'm like, I feel like you guys are trying too hard. Because when you think of Claire in Resident Evil 2, I mean, yeah, she's the younger sister of Chris Redfield, but she's, had the same training as he has. She knows firearms, so it makes sense she's able to use these firearms. She's not some damsel in distress. Don't think like in Resident Evil 2 that Leon's the hero and Claire's the damsel. She's not. She's just as competent as he is, because she's had a lot of the same training as Chris has. She was in school. That's what her whole thing is. She went to college, and she's trying to find her brother. That's the events of the original Resident Evil 2 game. Here she's just a super badass, and she's so fucking serious. Like, she has no personality. Like, she's even a bigger badass than I would say Chris Redfield is. And the thing that I kind of liked about Claire is that, and maybe they took this out of the movie because they thought, well, we can't have this, but she's kind of like a maternal figure too, and how she cares for Sherry in the games, especially in Resident Evil 2 Remake. Like, she really cares for that little girl, wants to help her. And she's always been kind of like a mother figure to Sherry. That is not in the movie whatsoever. They completely cut that out. Claire and Sherry don't meet each other until like the very last 5 minutes of the film. Like, they never come across each other. Actually, Jill kind of takes over that role to a degree. Again, because they're just mixing and matching everything. But I like that maternal aspect of Claire. I think that's what makes her story so interesting. I like that factor. Like, we're going to save that little fucking girl from her shitty mom and her crazy zombified dad and this whole threat. Like, that's a motivating thing for the player. And I think that's why it helps identify her. Like, you can be a maternal figure and a badass at the same time, chat. You don't need to separate those things or take that out, the maternal aspect. I think that's cool. That's what works about Claire Redfield as a character. It helps me identify with her. And so that they remove that completely from her story, she's just, I hate Umbrella, and let me tell you about how much I hate Umbrella. That's literally all she does in the film. Where now we're introduced to Leon, and again, Leon has Ellen Ripley, exactly. Ellen Ripley, one of the most badass female characters, action heroes of all time, just in general action heroes, and she has that huge maternal angle to her character. Caring for Newt, but we as audience love that about her, because like, yes, we're with you. We got to save that little girl. And in this, they're just like, no, we're not. We're getting rid of that. It's just about her resentment towards Umbrella. With Leon, so this is interesting. So Leon, again, not like his character in the original game in any way. He does have the most personality because he is very much the comic relief, but he's a fucking moron. He's an idiot. It's like, I get, like, they're like, oh, he's the rookie cop, and so he's inexperienced. And I'm like, sure, but he's not just inexperienced, Chad. He's a detriment to the group. Like, his whole thing, the reason why he's assigned to the Raccoon City Police Department, as they say in the movie, like, he gets up, he's clearly an alcoholic, because they wake up in his motel room, because he's been living, just Jack Daniels bottles everywhere. Fast food containers and shit like that. It's that whole like, oh, I got wrapped up in my sheets and I can't get the sheets off me because I'm trying to answer the telephone. And, it's like, you got to get up, rookie. Come on, it's your shift. It's 11 p.m. Get your keister and gear. He's like, all right, whatever. I'll be right there, guys. And he's literally asleep, like where they get breakfast and everything. But you learn about his character that the reason why he's there is because he shot his training partner when he went to the police academy. He shot his training partner in the ass accidentally, and his dad apparently is a big high up in the police force. That's what they say. And the only way that his son could then still be a police officer is if he goes to this little shithole place in Raccoon City. And that's it. But Leon is incompetent throughout the entire movie. Again, he has an occasional funny scene. He seems to be having fun with the material to a degree. But for the most part, he's just saying, what's going on, which is a reference to, obviously, the trailer song. Like, what the fuck is going on? Where am I supposed to be? Where should I go? And it's like, okay, at first it's kind of funny, but that's just all he is for most of the movie. And he doesn't know, like, he doesn't even know how to load a shotgun. He doesn't know how to, load a shotgun or to, cock a shotgun. He doesn't know how to do it. He's like, I don't know what's going on. And and that's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. I mean, already because the actor they hired looks nothing like him. I think what's the actor's name? Ivan Yogia. I mean, he's just not. Leon is blonde hair, blue eyed. He got that Germanic look to him. And Ivan Yogia is not blonde hair. He's not blue eyed in any capacity. I would say possibly Latino, Spanish, and it's weird casting choice. And yeah, people are going to be pretty pissed about what they do. He gets one moment in the movie, and it's the very last moment in the film when he does it. And again, it's like it comes out of fucking nowhere when he does this quote unquote cool thing. But for the most part, he's a fucking moron. And so he gets up, and like everyone, all the stars teams, like for some reason he's hanging out with stars. Like I think there's about maybe 10 police officers in Raccoon City, because there's like 2 regular ones who are Bravo team. Like in the first Resident Evil, like we're gonna send Bravo team out to check the Spencer Mansion. You literally sent just 2 police officers. Why are you referring to them as Bravo team? Whatever. But you know they're all like, and then we get like they're all at this diner because they're gonna do this. I guess they're all getting breakfast. I don't fucking know. But Leon's passed the fuck out because he's an alcoholic. Wesker is literally just stacking like condiments on his head. And it's like, hey, dude, Chris, bro. Oh, Chris is not even there. I'm sorry. But he's like, hey, Jill, look at this shit. Like Wesker is like stacking like ketchup bottles on Leon's head. And he goes, hey, man, hey, Jill, dude, bro. She's like, what is it, Wesker? And she wants to fuck Wesker so bad in this movie. And she goes, hey, I bet you $10 that you can shoot that ketchup bottle off of his head. And she goes, okay, let me see if I can. And she takes out her gun, and she literally takes out. Everyone's like, whoa, Jill, what are you doing? She's like, why? You said shoot. She's like, with this gun, Jill's character is crazy. Like, that's her whole thing. Like, she is constantly talking about what would be, there's literally a scene in this movie. I think it's in the diner when we get to the police station. But she says, hey, guys, what do you think would be like the absolute worst way to die? To be swallowed by a giant snake alive, or to be eaten by a giant shark, referencing the giant snake in Resident Evil 1 and referencing the giant shark in Resident Evil 1 as well. And so, hey, do you think those things are going to appear in this movie? No, but they reference them. But that's what she does. She wants to fuck Wesker. And she's a little off. That's it. She's always thinking of scenarios in which what would be the worst way to die. That's all she does. And she's played by Hannah John Kamen. I'm not too familiar with the actress. She played the villain in Ant-Man the Wasp. She played Ghost. That was the last time I recall her. But yeah, you got that one. And so she takes this little like prop gun, and she just shoots it at Wesker and goes, and like the little sticky goes in his forehead. And she takes a plastic gun and just throws it at Leon, and it hits his fucking face. He's like, oh, and she's like, ha, 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 ha. And they're like, Jill, take it easy. She's like, what? It's funny. It's fucking funny. And then she just steals, like, Wesker's, like, he has a sandwich in hand. He's like, I'm going to eat my breakfast sandwich now. And then Jill goes, mine. And he goes, Jill, what are you doing? She goes, you snooze, you lose. This is Jill's sandwich. Get it? Jill sandwich, and so she just steals it like out of his, and she just eats it. What are you talking about? It was in his hand. He's about to, okay, she's fucking nuts. Richard's also there, who does get vored by the snake, and he's like, hey guys, we gotta get to the station soon. But then all of a sudden, Bravo team, which is just 2 rent-a-cops, walk in, and they ask the diner lady, who's looking a little fucked up, Chad. She's constantly like, blood's coming out of her nose and eyeballs, and they're like, hey, are you okay? She goes, oh, I'm fine. It's been happening for like the last 3 weeks, but I'm good. And they're like, okay, cool. And they get some coffee, and they're like, hey, guys, where are you going? It's like, oh, well, we're going up to the old Spencer Mansion. Apparently, there's been reports of some chewed-up dead bodies. No one knows what's going on up there, but Bravo team, which is literally a schlubby 45-year-old white balding man, and his partner, who is also as equally schlubby and balding, are going up there to check. And it's like, okay, Deadpool, thank you so much, good sir. Let me have the 10 biddies for the 10 biddies. I hate this. Oh, man, the best is yet to come. Come on, Deadpool. But before they leave and get their coffee, they got to mess with Leon S. Kennedy. And they're like, are you Leon? He goes, yeah, I'm Leon. Oh, you're the Leon Kennedy. Leon S. Kennedy. It's like, we know. You don't have to emphasize the names. We know they're in the movie. It's like almost like he wanted to say, no, I want you all fucking to make sure I put these characters in this goddamn film, okay? They're here. They're here, all right? I'm saying their names the way they should be said. And they're like, aren't you the guy that shot your partner, your training partner in the ass at the academy? That was you, wasn't it, rookie? And he goes, Yeah, that was me. That was me. It's like, and I heard, and like, it's just exposition. And then I heard that your daddy, who's some big shot on the force, is he on the Raccoon City Police Department? Where is he? What force are you referring to? The NYPD, LAPD, CPD? What? I don't know. I heard that your daddy's a big shot on the force, and he's the one that got you transferred here, the only place that would take you. Isn't that right, Leon S. Kennedy? Yeah, he goes, yeah, I guess that's the case. All right, Wookie. All right, I'll see you later. And he walks away and he goes, hands up, don't shoot. Come on now. Just messing with you, rookie. Don't shoot this tookus here. All right, rookie, I'll see you later, Leon S. Kennedy. All right. And he leaves, and Leon's like, God, what a fucking asshole. And then I think like Claire throws her sandwich at him, and he's like, why is everyone throwing things at me? He is I'm sorry, Chad, but he is a fucking bitch in this movie. Don't turn your back on Leon. He will shoot you. He'll shoot you in your ass. But everyone then gets up because Chief Irons wants him at the station. Chad, I'm gonna talk about Chief Irons, played by Donald Logue, who you've seen in Gotham. He played one of the He played like the secondary henchman in Blade. He's been in a ton of stuff the last like 25 years. You've seen this guy before. He's like, I'm a working actor. I will appear in anything as long as you fucking pay me, chat. Because I do want to talk about him as Chief Irons, which surprised me in the movie. He's one of the bright spots in it, funny enough. But they all leave, and then Leon's like, "Oh, can I get some more coffee?" And the waitress comes over, and again, just leaking blood and mucus. And he goes, "Yeah, you got something coming out of you." And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's been happening to me for 3 weeks. I just don't know what to do." He's like, "Shouldn't you go see a doctor?" And she goes, "Nah, I don't need to see no doctor." It's like, okay, all right, fair enough. Eventually, then he goes, before they goes, we hear this thing hit the window, and the waitress and then Leon go to the window, and it's this CGI crow that hit the window, and it's like, it's all bloody and gross looking, and he's like, well, that's weird, and he just leaves. He leaves after that. Eventually, we cut back to Claire, who is being dropped off by the truck driver. And she's like, thanks for the lift. And he's like, okay, but you're not going to tell your cop brother, Chris Redfield, about what happened, right? It was an accident. You think that girl's okay? She goes, sure, whatever. And she like walks away. And then the guy looks at his dog, and the dog's just like, not looking great. And he's like, hey, buddy, you doing okay? You doing okay? CGI drool coming out of it and everything. He's like, come here, let me get a good look at you. Now, you better not be sick now. I don't got no insurance. And the dog just fucking bites his goddamn hand. She's like, oh! And he's like, you fucking bit me, you asshole. You fucking bit me. All right, next scene. And then we go to the next scene. And it's Claire, and she's just walking in the rain, chat. Fucking Incredible Hulk theme just playing. And she gets to her brother's shitty little house, and she steps up there, and then all the people and who are like his neighbors are just looking out their windows like this. Like they're already half zombified, Chad, because apparently Umbrella's been poisoning the fucking water, and they look like Chernobyl. Look like people from Chernobyl, Chad. Like, this isn't good. And no one wants to go to the hospital. No one wants to go see a doctor. But you see this one woman whose head's just engorged, and her son, who's equally just kind of gross looking, just kind of staring at her out of the window. And she's like, hi. And they're like, ah! And they close the window. She's like, all right, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. And then she goes to the door, and she's like knocking on the door, like, Chris, it's me, Claire, let me in. But then, Chad, she gets her trusty lockpick, even though, as we all know, Jill Valentine is the master of unlocking. This time, it's Claire Redfield, Chad. And she unlocks the door, she lets herself in, and then she just starts to peruse the house. She puts on a football helmet, she looks at a picture of Chris and Birkin. She's like, ooh, I don't like that Birkin. I don't like him at all. And eventually, Chris comes down the stairs, and he's like, Claire, what are you doing here? She goes, I've come to see you, brother. It has been too long. He goes, yes, it has been 5 years since I last saw you. So there's a whole fucking flashback sequence where, I don't know, I have no idea because we're constantly going back and forth between RE2 and RE1 stuff, and I'm like, I don't know when this scene comes in. Maybe it's here, but it's the scene when, like, Birkin and the Golden Girls fan are taking her to like the secret facility, the Nest, you assume, or the Spencer Mansion, who fucking knows. And she literally escapes by biting Birkin's hand, and she runs away. And she's like 8 or something, or like 7. And I guess she's been on the run since she's been 7 or 8 years. Like, it's not established like how long she's been on the run for. Because I guess after she bit Birkin, he's like, all right, well, no testing, no horrific fucking abomination experiments are going to be used on her. She just fucking gets out of town at 7 or 8, and I guess she's been living on her own. She has no social security card, chat. Like, who fucking, I don't know. What has she been doing? Like, it's not a step. Like, that's interesting. It's like, you've been on the run since you were 7 or 8 years old. Sporadically keeping in touch with Chris Redfield, making sure Umbrella doesn't have a beat on you. It's however many years later, and you're let's say in your late teens, early 20s at this point. How have you been living? I have no clue. It's not established. But she's like, Chris, I want to tell you about Umbrella. He's like, I know you do. That's all you do. She's like, but really, okay, it's a serious situation. He goes, listen, did you see the picture next to my football helmet? Birkin, Dr. Birkin is like a father to me. He calls me his son. He's the son he never had. That's what he always says to me, okay? All right, he put me through school. He put me through college. He got me in the RPD. It was because of him I am where I am today. She says, listen, I have a VHS tape. Do you have a VCR, like a 1998 VCR? And he's like, I do indeed have a Panasonic VCR. And he goes to the VCR, puts the fucking tape in. And we have the reporter guy from the games, Benny. I'm going to call him Benny, chat. And he's like, who is this guy? Who is this Benny? And she's like, I met him on a chat room. And he's done research on Umbrella. And he's learned about this town. He's like, what the hell is a chat room? She's like, it is on the internet. It's this new thing called the internet, Chris. Get with the times, because this is set in the 90s, chat. In case you didn't know, based on the Panasonic VCR and VHS tape. But she puts the tape in, which I guess he recorded for Claire. He sent it to her, I don't know. And he's like, come to Raccoon City. But he's like, Claire, listen, Umbrella's bad, as you know. We talk about it often on the chat room on the internet. And they've been slowly poisoning the water supply for years. And I guess only certain, this makes no fucking sense. Because, like, okay, if they've been slowly poisoning the water supply for so long, and these people are fucking gross and sick, then why isn't Chris sick? Like, it's then said, like, Chris was kept alive for a reason. Or, like, Leon. But Leon's been drinking the water. It doesn't make any fucking sense. He's like, people have been drinking the water, and they've been getting sick, and Umbrella's experiments aren't going the way they want, so they're just going to destroy the city. At 6 a.m., they're going to destroy the city. And you got to leave, okay? Bye. And that's it. That's all you know. And she's like, see, here's the evidence. He's like, you literally just showed me a video of a guy saying this stuff. You didn't provide any facts. You just gave me, like, I've been told there's poison in the water supply and the city's going to be destroyed by 6 a.m. That's all the video is. And so if I was Chris Redfield, it's like, this guy's fucking nuts. Why are you going on the chat room on the internet, Claire? You out of your mind? She's like, you never listen to me. You never listen to me. And she's like, you never stayed with me. You abandoned everything because of your obsessions, because of your hatred of Umbrella. I love Umbrella, Claire, and I got to go to work, okay? She's like, don't drink the water. Don't do it. He's like, I drank so much water today from the faucet. I would do it in front. He goes to this thing, just chugs all the water. He's like, you can't tell me what to do. And he leaves. And then Claire, she watches fucking Redfield go to work and shit, and she grabs the water bottle. And we get a scene of her sniffing the water. I like it. Pouring some of the water down the drain, looking at it. Pouring the rest down, turning the faucet on, looking at the faucet water. She then turns her head, and she sees that the weird woman from across the street is literally scrawling something in blood on the door. And she's like, well, that's weird. And she goes over to the glass door, and it says, itchy tasty. Now, I don't know why this woman would just write that on the wall. Like, I get that's a journal from Resident Evil 1, but again, it's this weird, whatever, it doesn't matter. And she's like, hey, are you okay? Clearly, a woman who has an engorged, fucked up head and is, like, you know, super pale and is literally leaking from every orifice, chat, that she had. Every hole is leaking something, chat. And I'm like, my first thing would not be to say, hey, are you okay? She's obviously not okay at this point. I'd be like, I'm going to call 911. You need help. But before Claire can do that, the front door opens. No, I love it that every door before was locked, and then all of a sudden, all the doors are just open now. That's weird. And I guess her little weird hobbit child came in, and he's hiding under the table, and he's gross, but he still has some, like inkling about like, all right, something bad's gonna happen. And she looks under the table as this kid's just hiding under there. He's like, ah. And she's like, are you okay? He's like, no, but you're not okay either. And then his mom just fucking yeets herself through the door. She goes, ah! And she's just on top of Claire, and she's like, it itches, it's tasty, it's itchy and tasty. Ah! And Claire just punches her in the face, and she throws her off, and she runs out. And all of a sudden, all the fucking lights turn off in the entire city, chat. The city, and then we hear this emergency broadcast going out. And it's like, this is an emergency broadcast. Please remain in your home. Umbrella loves you. We would never poison the water supply and or turn you into abomination monsters. This is not a drill. And so it's like, okay, well, Umbrella says that. I guess we're fine. She then gets on Chris's bike, and she rides out into the night looking for her big brother to warn him about Umbrella and their evil, chat. Eventually, oh boy, I think we cut to the Raccoon City Police Department. She self-yeeted herself through the window. She's just head fucking first. And she's got a big engorged head filled with zombie fluid, chat. But then we cut to the RPD building, and it's made of styrofoam. The outside is completely made of styrofoam, chat. And we go into the office of Chief Irons, who's just Donald Logue, who is like literally staring out and going like, that's not good. That's not fucking good. I don't know what's going on. He's like, I gotta go talk to the Stars team, chat. Which I love how they try to show like, oh, this is all like, it's not. These are not the same rooms. Every office looks vastly different from the other one. There's no consistency. And it like that, like not the same fucking color or structure. It's like this we're in a trailer, but we go to the Stars command headquarters where I think Wesker is like, I don't know, downing a beer or something. Jill is talking about like, would you rather be vored by a snake or vored by a zombie shark? And they're like, Jill, you're weird. Chris Redfield shows up. And then Chief Irons, he walks in. He's like, all right, you fucking kids, get your asses in here. I have a special assignment for you. And Leon comes in as well. He's like, all right, sure. And he's like, listen, Bravo team, which was our two 45-year-old schlubby cops, they have not responded, okay? They have not responded checking out the munched up bodies near the Spencer Mansion. And for this mission, it's like, this is weird. So we're going to use the helicopter that we have. And you're going to go check on Bravo team, okay? Fucking Wesker will be point man. He will be the leader of this operation, all right? Chris Redfield and Jill and Richard and some other fucking schmuck you don't care about, he's there too. And that's what we're going to do, all right? And Leon's like, sir, what's the Spencer Mansion? He's like, Leon, the Spencer Mansion. Leon, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, you said there was a team meeting. You said everyone come inside. And he's like, not you, you idiot. You fucking idiot, Leon. You're so stupid. And then everyone starts making fun of Leon. It's like, ha, 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 the rookie thinks he can be part of Stars. Look at you. He's like, I was told there was a meeting. Why are you guys yelling at me? And he's like, ha, ha, you suck, Leon. You fucking suck. And he's like, why don't you go by the desk in the front office, okay? See if any old ladies walk in wanting to find their cat. He goes, why I hate this town. I hate you. He's like, I know you do, Leon. And he just walks out, but he's like, I will answer. But at the same time, he says, but Leon asked a very good, important question. For those of you who don't know, the Spencer Mansion was one of the first structures and established in Raccoon City when it was founded in 1939 by Oswell E. Spencer, okay? He was also the founder of it's exposition. It's literally more exposition. He's literally the founder of the Umbrella Corporation, and they've been part of the term. Anyway, I want you to go out to the Spencer Mansion and to find Bravo team and check on all the chewed up dead bodies. And they're like, yes, sir, yes, sir. But then we see Wesker. He has a beeper, and the beeper's like, it's time now, Wesker. Go to your locker and find. What's the device that he uses? I know I've seen that fucking device before, and I forgot what it is. Oh, shit. I'm trying to remember what device. It's a tablet, and it's called something specific. But it's a tablet basically. But He's like, they're telling him, go to your locker to get this tablet. He's like, okay. It's like 90s era, late 90s era, like tablet or something. It's like the Newton. I think that's what it is. I think it's the Apple Newton. Go get the Apple Newton from your locker. But he reads the beeper, and Chief Orange is like, oh, what are you looking at there, Wesker, Albert? What are you looking? He's like, oh, just something. Just got a message. And he goes, ha, you got a message? Yeah, did you know? Is that like a hot young lady? Like a girlfriend? Is that what it is? Some broad, some piece of meat you picked up? He goes, oh yeah, you know it. You know it, man. You know I love the ladies. Albert Wesker, he's a ladies' man. He's like, that's great. What are you gonna take her? Take her Buffalo Wild Wings? Take her Buffalo Wild Wings? Is that what's gonna happen? Go play some arcade? Gonna get I heard the salad there's great. And fucking down a low, because he's just going off on Wesker. He's like, I guess so. He's like, yeah. And you know what? You're gonna play this particular type of 90s era music for her. Play this 90s era music. Oh my God, she'll be jumping in the sheets with you in no time. Doesn't that sound good, buddy? He goes, yeah. Looks like I'm gonna get laid. He goes, yeah. Except not tonight. You're gonna go out to the Spencer Mansion, okay, and check up what's going on. All right, everybody, get your asses in gear. And then they disappear for the next 30 minutes of the fucking movie. They're just not in the movie for the next 30 minutes, Chad. It's like, oh shit. Like by the time we go back to them, it's like, oh yeah, the Resident Evil 1 stuff. Because for the rest of the film right here, it is just Resident Evil 2 shenanigans. From this director's adaptation of Resident Evil 2 shenanigans. Eventually, we cut to, it's Leon. We cut to Leon, and he's in the front office of the police station, and we see the big statue in the background, chat, and all that in the background is all CGI. We never go back there. You never like in the game. So like, oh, I can go explore this whole area and stuff and really check it out because it used to be an old museum, but it was converted into a police station. Nope. You see that CGI statue and that CGI background, and no one takes a fucking step back there, okay? And this director, he just hangs on it. He just fucking hangs on this shot, chat. It's like, yeah, cool, right? But we're not going to explore in any capacity. And Leon, again, is a shitty fucking cop because what he's listening to music and he falls asleep. He's just and it's the trailer music, chat. It's like, what's going on? It's like, that's what's happening. That's it. He falls asleep at the desk, chat. He's an alcoholic and he's an idiot. Eventually, we cut back to the truck driver, and he's, like, really fucking gross now. He's, like, leaking out of every orifice, chat. Cheeseburger just coming right out of that butthole of his, chat. It's like, oh, my God, don't need to see that. But he has all this CGI mumbo-jumbo on his face, all this goop, and he's all, and the dog's just kind of looking at him like, I don't even want to eat you right now. You're so gross. But he's driving the fucking semi-chase, crashing in the parked cars. Like, no one's out in the streets because everyone's getting infected by the zombie virus, I guess. Everyone's getting gross. And he's, eventually, he's hitting all these cars. He's heading right for the fucking police station, chat. And he hits one car, and it fucking flips the truck, and it slides right in the police station. Huge fucking explosion. Leon still just completely knocked the fuck out, chat. I mean, he's listening to, He-Man music videos, and he's asleep. Witness me. Exvour Gaming, thank you so much for the raid, good sir. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you had a very nice stream. What you playing today? I'm currently reviewing Resident Evil, heavy emphasis on that, chat. Welcome to Raccoon City. But I will say, chat, once the semi-car flips over, and it's really shitty CGI, it's bad. But once it flips over and explodes, which is a bad CGI, there's like multiple bad CGI explosions. This is the first of several in the movie. We get what I think is one of the best scenes in the film. I'm like, it kind of like, oh, this is fucking interesting. Because we then cut to the entrance, and the truck driver is literally walking out like Terminator 2 style, but he's on fire right to the desk, and then we have that fucking music playing. I'm like, okay, this is pretty funny. I was like, this is a really good scene here. It took me back to I was like, I'm so bored. I don't like any of these characters. They're skipping through all this way too fast. But when this scene happens, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And they're playing like some 90s pop song. And this guy's just fucking on fire walking through, and Leon is just asleep. And eventually, like, Leon, he wakes, he's like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, oh, shit! And this thing's almost on top of him. But then Chief Irons pulls out his fucking Magnum, chat. Boom! Brains the guy. He falls over, and he's like, rookie! He's like, what is it, sir? And he's like, get the fire extinguisher, you fucking moron. And then Leon He does use the fire extinguisher, right? He puts out the guy, and he's like, "Sir, what's going on? What's happening? What should I do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here." I love it. It's so funny. Chief Irons is the best character in the movie because he does what any of us would do. He's like, "I am getting the fuck out of here. I know I'm in charge, but I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. Fuck no, I'm done." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And like literally Chief Irons goes to his office. He's starting to pack all his shit up. Like, I'm getting all my stuff, getting my medals, getting my fucking my whiskey in there. And he's like, but sir, who's in charge? Sir? And he's like, "You know what? How about you call someone? Maybe someone will come by and you can get help." Fucking all the phones are dead. All the phones are dead at this point. And he's like, he's still following Chief Irons. He goes into the parking garage. And he's like, "But sir, who's in charge now?" He's like, "You know what, rookie? You're going to be in charge. Congratulations." He takes off his badge and he pins it on Leon. "You're the chief of police of Raccoon City. Gonna make Papa real proud. Why don't you call him once the phone lines come back on?" And he just gets the fuck out of there. He just leaves. And Leon's like, "I don't know what to do." "We know, Leon. We know you don't know what to do, baby. We know. You poor, dumb moron summer child." And eventually we stick with Irons for a good portion of the movie, chat, where he's driving around Raccoon City. He's seeing all the gross, fucked up people. And he gets up to this, like, underpass where is this checkpoint. And he's right there, but there's like these security guards are like, whoa, hold on. Because like these guys are dealing with some people are trying to get out of the city. And like they're talking. He's like, "All right, talk. Yep. But then the conversation starts to turn aggressive at this point. And he's looking behind him. He's trying to back out, but he can't back out, so he's kind of stuck. He's pinned. He's like, "What the hell is going on?" And at one point, one of the Raccoon citizens tries to like throw a punch at the SWAT guy, the National Guard. And this guy just fucking pulls out his gun, just starts shooting everybody. And fucking Donald Logue's like, "Oh shit, fuck, oh Jesus!" And it's actually again, this is another good scene here where he's like bullets are pelting his car. He's ducking low. He's trying to reverse his car. He's hitting the car in back of him. People are trying to get into his car because they're being fucking shot. They're being killed. And he eventually turns his car around, hits some of the security guards, the National Guardsmen. He just fucking gets out of there. She's like, "What the fuck?" And he heads back to the police station. Again, not bad. And I was like, okay, movie's picking up. Here we go. This is what it's going to be. But eventually he gets back to the police station. Fucking muffler is like hanging off by a thread, chat. Pulls up there. And then he gets out, and again, all the electricity's all wonky and shit. And he starts hearing this. And he's like, "Hello?" "Who's that?" It's like, don't answer it. Just fucking go. But he's like, "I'm going to go get my gun." And so he's like, tries to go for his gun. But he forgot he put the gun in his car. He's like, "Oh, shit. What's the use of a holster if you're not going to put your gun in it?" Goes back to the car, chat. Gets his fucking gun out. Starts, "Okay, where are the bullets? Why didn't I load the gun before? Okay." And he literally, there's a line where Donald Logue, he does his best. He goes, "Stupid bullets." As he puts the bullets inside the gun. And you see like this thing is coming up right behind him, Chad. And it's the dog. It's the dog. You thought it was behind him, but it actually goes. It's like literally his ass, like Donald Logue's thick, 40-year-old, 50-year-old ass is just, it's on a silver fucking platter for this zombie dog, the CGI zombie dog, chat. And it's like, no, I'm going to make it hard on myself. Goes around the car and goes through the driver's side window trying to get at Donald. He's like, "Oh, jeez. Ah!" And he unloads the entire clip and he misses the dog. He's like, "I need more stupid bullets." And he puts more stupid bullets back in the gun. And the dog's trying to get him. And Donald Logue's like, "Oh, God, no." And he tries to shoot the dog again, misses. He's like, "Stupid bullets, come here." Puts like a few more in there. Falls on his fat ass, chat, shoots at the dog, misses again. The dog, and then when the dog's revealed, it's like one of the worst effects. There's a lot of bad CGI in this movie, but this dog, chat. There's no texture. It's just smooth. It looks like the dogs from the PS1 game. And it just walks towards him like, until he's like, he pulls the gun, he's like, "Fuck you." And there's nothing in there, Chad. He's like, "Oh no." And then Claire comes over and she yeets a fire extinguisher. She yeets the fire extinguisher so good. The dog's like, "What the fuck happened?" And she picks it up and she starts bashing the dog's brains and like, And then Leon comes over. He's like, what's going on? Put down your gun, ma'am. She's like, this isn't a gun. It's a fire extinguisher, you moron. Well, put down the fire extinguisher, ma'am. And even fucking Officer Chief Iron just like, put your gun down, you idiot. He's like, okay, sir. Are you in charge again? He's like, he's Morty. It's like, what if we did Resident Evil 2, but we had Morty Smith from Rick and Morty play Leon S. Kennedy, Chad. That's what Leon is. And at times it's amusing, other times it's not. And she goes, my name is Claire Redfield, because they're asking her who she is. She's like, my name is Claire Redfield. And he goes, the Claire Redfield, the sister of Chris Redfield? Yes. He goes, oh, geez, what are you doing here? She's like, where's my brother? He's like, oh, I sent him to the Spencer Mansion. And we cut, and we're at the Spencer Mansion where we see a CGI forest, so the helicopter's flying over a CGI forest, and the guy's going, like, it's Brad, right? It's Brad Vickers, who does not last long in the movie. He's flying the copter. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to put you down where Bravo team is. He lands the copter and he goes, okay, well, I couldn't get too close to them, so I'm just going to hang out here in the dark woods. I'll see you guys later. Sure we will, Brad. Sure we will. And so they travel to the car, and it's been completely fucking destroyed. It's been flipped. I don't know what the hell attacked this. It feels like it's implied it was attacked by the hunters or maybe a liquor, because it's flipped over. And it's been like, has these huge claw marks on it, but we just don't know. We're not shown. It could be the liquor that's in the movie. Maybe it's some other monsters. We just don't know. We have no idea. Yeah, and so they go, they're like, what could have done this thing? And then they look up, and there's this crow, the CGI crow on the wheel that's looking at Wesker, and it's all fucked up. And then Jill shoots. It's like, don't go at my man. He's like, Jesus, Jill, someone should take that thing away from you. You're going to shoot somebody. You're going to shoot me someday with that. Wink, wink. She goes, I would never do that to you, Wesker. I care about you so much. And Chris is like, oh, he's sad, chap, because Jill doesn't feel the same way that he feels about her, chat. She's got all eyes on Wesker. But little does she know, he's a fucking traitor. He's doing it for the monies. And so the team, Alpha Team, is, other than Chris, Jill, and Wesker, Richard, he's there too, Chad. He's the one that gets vored by the snake in the Jill campaign, or he's vored by the giant shark in the Chris campaign. You think Richard's going to make it? So they get to the mansion, and it's the CGI. It's like, this is not real. This is a CGI building. And it's like, oh, here is the Spencer Mansion. The blood trail goes inside. Let's go inside. Okay, let's go inside. And so they go inside, chat, and it's like, oh, like when we first go in the mansion, it's this iconic fucking scene from the game, one of the most iconic locations of video game history, chat. Certainly of the 90s, certainly of that decade. It's like, oh, when you first it's like, oh my God, so mysterious. And it looks like a playset. And like they have the like, ooh, it's the front where it's the stairs and they're going up and the stairs look a little too small. And like when they transition upwards in the camera pans, it's like, that's all CGI. That's not real. That's not real. You literally just did the bottom half, and when we pan up, CGI. It's like, God damn it, this movie's fucking cheap. And they're like, well, where should we go? And Wesker says, we should all split up and cover more ground. I will say, though, people are like the rest of the team are like, Wesker, that's stupid. Why are we splitting up? Because we'll cover more ground. Jeez. And he's like, no, we should go in teams of 2. And he's like, all right, fine. And Jill is quick to say, I'll go with Wesker. And Chris is like, oh, okay. And he goes with Brad. And so Jill and Wesker, they go their own separate way or something. And then Chris and Brad, they're going down. I see some of these are just so out of, like, we constantly at this point jump back and forth between RE2 shit and RE1 shit. I'll just cover some of the RE1 stuff for now. And then we'll go back to RE2. But they're in the mansion, are looking around and everything, and Chris and Brad, they find more of the blood trail. They go upstairs. That's what it is. They go upstairs while Jill and Wesker are on the bottom floor. But eventually, we get that iconic shot of Chris and Brad finding, although it should be Barry. It should be Barry. But that's the iconic shot of the zombie who's munching on one of the Bravo team members, and he turns his head around, and shit's like, oh my God. And it's just kind of a letdown. It's just like, yeah, you can't capture that. Not with the budget that you have, it's just not the same. And this scientist guy is just, and we're going, sir, you're gonna have to stand down now, okay? And he's like, and he comes at him. They start shooting him and shit. And he's like, holy shit, that guy took all them bullets. And he gets up again, tries to attack him, and they finally shoot him in the head. And Chris goes over to one of the Bravo team guys, one of the schlubby cops, and he's got like all of his throat meat ripped out. He's like, and he's like, oh, it's okay. You're going to be okay. He's not going to be okay, Chris. All of his throat meat is missing. And he's like, we're just going to put the throat meat back in. And it's like, it's not going to fix it, Chad. And he's like, just going to put pressure on the throat. And it's like, he dies, expires. And Brad's like, I'm going to go this way and check something out. I think I saw something. And he fucking does that, chat. And guess what fucking happens to Brad? He gets destroyed. He gets nom-domed by a shit ton of zombies. They swarm his ass. He's like, he's like a shotgun, tries to shotgun him, chat, but he forgot to reload, of course. And he's like, oh no. And these guys just start tearing him up. And you know what the thing is? It's so dark in this scene, it's even kind of hard to see what's happening. And then Chris is like, Brad! And then a zombie attacks him, like, he goes, and he shoots, and then we cut. And now we're with Jill and Wesker, and they go to this little library area, and Wesker's like, Jill, let's go this way. And she's like, what are you looking at? And he goes, nothing, I'll explain. He has the map, and this is like, a little cute thing. So his little tablet has the map of the mansion, and it looks just like the map we get in the original Resident Evil. He's like looking at it, and he's like, okay, here we go. And they go into this one room, all this books and shit, and he literally sits down at the piano, and he looks at the little device, because it's a puzzle, because it says, play the notes in this order to access the secret tunnel, and then obtain the objective. And he's like, okay. And he starts playing the piano, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, shut up, I gotta do this. What do you mean? No, I need an explanation. Why are you playing the piano now? Eventually we cut back to, what's his name? Brad, the helicopter pilot. He's playing Game Boy. He's playing a little Game Boy game chat, catching them Pokemon. And this is where we hear the He-Man song, what's going on? This is when it comes in there. He's like, yeah, all that shit. While zombies are just circling the entire helicopter, but he's just too busy playing fucking Pokemon Red, catching them fucking bell sprouts, chat. Catching them, Magmars and such, and that a zombie just yeets a lot of zombie yeeting. Zombie just fucking yeets itself through the fucking window. Richard, Brad, Richard, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which one it is. They're disposable. I may have been saying Chris and Brad, Chris and Richard. It doesn't matter. They're there to die. Brad is the helicopter pilot. Richard's the guy that got nommed on by the zombies. But he's like, yeah, I caught myself, a fucking sparrow. And he gets fucking eaten by a zombie, and he's dead. But then we cut back to, not dead yet, but then we cut back to Wesker, who opens up a secret doorway with the piano, which I'm like, yeah, this doesn't translate well. I don't know if you could do that unless you do some James Bond shit with it. Maybe it's like, ooh, it's a secret entrance. That's Oswald Spencer's secret entrance, but who even fucking knows? But the door opens, and he's just staring out this tunnel, while Jill, she's looking out the window. She's like, what's Brad doing on the helicopter? What's he doing? Why is he coming right here? Oh, my God. Because we see the trailer, the helicopter's coming right at the mansion. And she's like, Wesker, look out! And she, dives for him as the helicopter comes crashing in. Big CGI explosion. We then cut, and we are now back in RE2 shenanigans, okay? Claire is like, okay, Chief Irons and Leon, how much do you know about Umbrella? Do you know how bad they are? And they go, I assume they're bad. Yes, they're responsible for everything, okay? And we need to assess the situation. Where are all your guns? And Chief Irons is like, the armory is that way. I'm going to go see if I can get Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot. And she goes, good. And so then her and Leon go to the armory, and Leon's like, I don't know how guns work. Can you show me, very strong, pretty lady? And she goes, how the fuck are you a police officer? And this is an interesting exchange. Because, no, that's what it is. Because he grabs a shotgun, and he doesn't know how to load it. He doesn't know how to cock it, nothing. And she takes it from him. He's like, here, I'll do it for you. And he's like, wow, you sure know a lot about guns. He goes, my big brother Chris Redfield trained me. And she goes, wow, it's pretty cool. Heard a lot of cool things about Chris. I'm sure you're probably wondering why I'm a cop, why I'm a police officer. And she goes, actually, yeah. And he goes, me too. Anyway, and that's it. That's what happens. He goes, anyway. He's like, yes, no, give me backstory. Give me something about you that like I can figure you out. And he's like, yeah, me too. I don't know. It wasn't written in the script. So we have no fucking clue. Strangers, you thank you with a 5 big Papa Zimmer starring the wife. Good evening. I wish, I'm gonna tell you right now, chap. I wish Mila Jovovich was in here. I wish the wife, I wish Paul Thomas Anderson directed this. I'll tell you fucking what. Oh, my Lord. Nightwing, good to see him. Chris review Resident Evil is more entertaining than the action movie. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope I'm doing well. I hope I'm doing well. There's just so many scenes of just people fucking talking. I'm just like, okay. All right, let's go. Transition. Eventually they get guns, I assume, and she's like, all right, well, what's happening? What's happening at this? No. So after that, she's like, I'm gonna go check on Chief Irons and see what's going on. What's going on? He's like, cool. I'm gonna go into the basement for some reason. So he goes to the basement because he hears someone knocking. Oh yeah, that's right. He hears someone yelling. And he's like, what the hell is that? And he goes, like, of course, he's like, not call for, like, hey, guys, there's someone yelling down here. I'm going to wait. Until everyone else is here. Then we can go down and check it. Also, they start to lock up the, lock up the police station, and all the side characters that you saw earlier, like, the diner lady and the mom whose head is engorged, and the little kids, they're all, like, at the gates. And they're not really zombies yet. They're more just like, let us in. Let us in. That's kind of pretty much what they're doing. But he goes down in the basement because, of course, he fucking does. And we see the guy, Benny, from the videotape that Claire had, and he's been locked in prison. And it's like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Now, they don't tell you what happened. In the movie, it's like, oh, did Chief Irons lock him in there because Chief Irons is League of Umbrella? I feel like all that shit was cut out, and I'm going to tell you, and it's like, okay, because that's part of, like, you know, the RE2. Like, that's a big part of it. It's like Chief Irons is involved in all this shit. And he kind of is, but they don't say it enough to, like, be like, okay, is this actually happening? And we'll get to this. There's a weird scene later on to just confuse the hell out of me. Thank you, Deadpool with the 5 biddies. And thank you, Zach298 for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. But Leon, he goes down to the basement, as you do. And Benny's there. He's like, hey, man, you gotta let me out of here, man. I'm a political prisoner, man. And Leon's like, I don't know who you are. He's like, listen, man, there's like this guy in here, and he's not looking too good, all right? And Leon goes over. He's like, yeah, he doesn't look good. He's like, is he okay? Is he going to be okay? And the guy goes, oh, yeah, you know, man, you know, when you have a cold, you start coughing up blood and shitting yourself with the time. Common ailments. Leon's like, really? He goes, no, you fucking idiot. He's like, why is everyone yelling at me? He goes, the guy's clearly sick, man. He's been poisoned by Umbrella, okay? You know? And they've been in this exposition. Did you know Umbrella was founded in 1939? They've been poisoning this whole town ever since. Now, for some reason, certain characters have not been poisoned. And apparently, and then he just goes off about this. Did you take any pills recently, or were you given a pill or an injection that prevents you from being infected? And so they're implying that Leon, for whatever reason, was given a vaccine ahead of time so he's not infected by the poisoned water. And these other characters the same way. Chris, Wesker, Jill, Chief Irons. I mean, I can kind of maybe see, but everyone else, like, why these people? Or the experiments are like Claire and Chris were experimented on, and so they're immune. Like, again, but there's no explanation as to some of these other. Why weren't Bravo team, those two cops? Why weren't they infected by the poison? Like, nothing's fucking explained. So you're just like, okay. And so this guy's just going off like you were given probably a pill or an injection. You didn't even know it. And that's why you haven't been infected, right? And Leon's like, I don't know what's going on. I know that. We know, Leon, we know. And eventually Leon gets really close to the bars. He's like, listen, you're in here for a reason. I can't let you out. And then the guy just literally punches Leon in the face and grabs his gun. Benny, this little emaciated looking fuck, gets a one-up on Leon. Leon's like, don't shoot me. And he's like, get me the fucking keys. Get me out of here, man. Now, again, that is a fucking zombie sitting. This guy's like 90%, like the guy who's sitting in the cell with Benny. He's like 99% zombie at this point. He's leaking. He's going, "Oh," and I'm like, shoot his ass. Just do it. And Benny's like, nah. Nah, I don't need to. I'm good. While Leon, he gets the key out of the desk. Fucking Benny's, he's doing exposition. Umbrella bad, chat. Leon gets over and he's like trying to get the key. And he's like, the guy's like, come on, man, hurry up. He's getting grosser. Just shoot him. And he's like, okay, don't rush me. I don't know what key it is. He gets the key, opens the door. He goes, yeah, man, nice and easy. Nice. Now I'm going to get the hell out of, oh! And the guy, like the zombie guy, of course, fucking yeets himself at Benny and rips out his fucking throat. And then Leon's like, oh, Jesus, good. And then the zombie, like, after it takes a big old chunk of Benny chat, good old Benjamin, it yeets itself at Leon. And Leon's like, get off of me, man, get off of me. He's like kicking him and stuff. And then Claire comes down the stairs and boom, shoots him with the shotgun. And she's like, is everything going okay down here? He's like, yeah, I'm better now. She sees Benny and she's like, oh no, Benny. Anyway, let's get going. Leon's like, okay. Then she picks up his gun and she's like, listen, rookie, okay? You're gonna have to prove yourself now, all right? I need you to be the cop you're always meant to be the Leon S. Kennedy of the world, the Leon S. Kennedy that the world will respect, and will always respect. And he goes, okay, and he takes the gun. And the zombie gets up and he goes, oh, and he shoots the zombie, misses half the shots, but he does down it finally with one lucky shot to the head. And she goes, you feeling better? He goes, hell yeah. And so eventually they go up the stairs. Yeah, that's when we cut to, so Birkin. I forgot about Birkin. He's in the movie. So with all this crazy shit that's happening, we cut to Birkin's little girl, Sherry. She goes, she wakes up because she had a nightmare. She dreamed about a really gross green CGI monster. And Birkin and his wife, Annette, who is not a scientist in this movie, Annette doesn't know what the fuck what's going on. She has no idea what's going on. But he comes in there, and he's actually a caring father, which is different than the Birkin in the original movie. Or not original movie, the games. He's like, I don't give a fuck about my daughter. Or at least he's like aloof about her. Yeah, Annette cares, I feel like cares more. But he walks in there. He's like, oh, it's okay, baby. You just had a nightmare. You just had a scary nightmare. It's all right. But he's like, I saw a monster, Daddy. It be big claws. And it was me. He goes, oh, big claws. There's no such things as monsters, honey. It's okay. All right. Just go back to sleep. But then he hears a little ring-a-ding-ding on the corded phone chat, and he's like, I gotta go take this, and he's like, don't worry, I'll tuck her back in. He goes, cool. Goes to the phone, he goes, hello, and it's obviously a shot where the actor is not actually in the scene with the other characters. It's very weird. It's like he's CGI'd into the scene. It's very obvious. And he goes, Dr. Birkin, what's up? Oh, we're all going to die. Okay, well, I'm going to go get the G virus and head out of town. He hands the phone, and he's like, pack your things. We're leaving. And the wife's like, excuse me. She's like, I told you to fucking pack your things. And he's like, okay, Jesus Christ. He went from like 3 to like an 11 instantly, chat. And they get into their fucking minivan at one point, and I think I forgot this scene earlier. He almost like hits Claire Redfield, and him and Claire just have this fucking stare down, like, kind of like Mac and Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You ever seen that meme chat where they're going? It's the same exact fucking scene, except it's Birkin and Claire Redfield. And he just drives away, and the wife's like, who is that girl? And he's like, that girl? You want to know who that girl is? She goes, yeah. That girl is Claire Redfield. We know Claire Redfield. We know Birkin. We know. Anyway, we cut back to the Spencer mansion where Jill and Wesker have gotten up. They've recovered. They have serious concussions. Wesker's a little derpy now. He can't really hear very well. And Jill's like, oh no, Brad's dead. We got to call Chief Irons. And Wesker's like, yeah, about that. I'm going to go down this secret tunnel. She's like, Wesker, what the hell is going on? What's going on? And he's like, listen, I got contacted by these people like 3 months ago. They're called the Organization. And they hired me to obtain this thing from Umbrella. And I'm going to get it from them and sell it to them for money. They're going to pay me a lot of money for it. And I was told to kill you guys, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because I have feelings for you, Jill. I can't kill my best friend Chris and the other ones, Richard and Brad, I think. I can't bring myself to do it. And she's like, Wesker, you betrayed Stars. You betrayed me. He's like, I need the money, Jill. I got to get out of this shithole town. Goodbye forever. And she's like, Wesker. And he like runs down the tunnel. Eventually, we cut back to Chris Redfield, who is now we get like, okay, this could be a cool scene because he's in the mansion, he's all alone, it's very dark, he's got the light shooting zombies, but the way this whole scene, this action scene is shot, you don't know what the fuck is going on. What's going on? I can't see anything, and where it's like he fires the shot off and it just cuts. You see a little bit of the light, and then he fires another shot of light, and apparently he's being swarmed by zombies, but you can't tell. You can't tell. He's knifing them at one point, shooting with the pistol, shooting with the MP5 he has, but it's so poorly choreographed and hard to see that I don't know what's happening. Eventually, he runs out of ammo and he falls on the floor, and he finds one of the other schlubby cops who's like all zombified now. He's like, hey man, are you doing okay? He's obviously not fucking okay. His fucking half his face is gone. But he's like, whoa! And apparently zombies, much like Lisa Trevor, they can pull Batmans at this point, chat. And they're constantly disappearing and ending up behind you. Like this guy, like the zombie's like crawling right towards him, like like he's right up on him. And Chris has the lighter, which is all like which he gets in Resident Evil 1. He starts with the lighter, chat. I remember that. And he has it. And then somehow the zombie ends up behind him, which I'm like, the zombie went, shit, I'm gonna bamboozle this motherfucker. He ends up behind him and he grabs him. He's about to bite Chris Redfield's pretty masculine dude bro face, but fucking Jill comes in there with the save and shoots the zombie off of him. Bing, bang, bang. And he's like, oh, where's Wesker? He's like, Wesker betrayed us, Chris. He betrayed us. I loved him. Where's Brad or Richard? Where's Richard? He's like, he's dead. Well, I think at one point, like, Richard comes, oh, that's the thing. Right before Jill and Wesker are like gonna go in the tunnel. Wesker's going in the tunnel. Richard comes out from behind Jill trying to grab her, and Wesker shoots the zombie off of her. He's like, that's all I can do for you now, Jill. I have to go. And that's when he leaves. And she's like, we gotta chase after Wesker. We need to stop him for some reason. And it's like, okay, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Eventually, we cut back to Resident Evil 2 shenanigans. And, oh yeah, all the zombies have broken through at this point. They've all broken through. They're going in the police station, and Claire and Leon and Chief Irons, they're trying to escape. They're going down a hallway, shootout, but it's not well choreographed. They can't get out of town. The helicopter, can't get the helicopter. And Chief Irons is like, okay, I think I know of one other place we can possibly go to escape, but you gotta trust me. And they're like, okay, sure. And so eventually they get out of there, and they go to the orphanage, and Claire's like, why are we here? Why are we going to the orphanage? And he's like, listen, I just know certain things. And they literally go inside the orphanage, and then they start having the conversations like he's been involved in this whole fucking you assume he's involved in Umbrella, he knows what's going on, but we don't hear any of that. We see Chief Irons and Claire arguing because we're with Leon. He just wanders off. He's like a stupid child at a mall. You ever, like, if you're a parent, remember when you were a kid, Chad, or if you have kids, right? And you're at the mall or the store, and the kid just fucking wanders off, and he hides in, like, the shirt racks and shit. That's what Leon is. That's what he is in this movie. And so, like, that's actually some important exposition. Like, of all the exposition we need right now, it's like, okay, this Chief Irons, is he aware of all this? You have to assume that's why he locked up Benjamin the reporter. And so he's been aware of this shit, but we don't hear that dialogue at all. We have to figure that's what Claire and Irons are talking about. But no, Leon's walking down a fucking hallway, and we actually get to one of the other cool shots in this film. There's been like 2 so far in the movie, I would say. Here's the third one. It was very interesting because it's very dark, but we have these like overhead fluorescent lights that are like hanging on like wires and stuff, and each one starts moving. Boop, boop, boop. Like something's coming towards Leon, and he's like, what is that? And I'm like, you know what, Leon, I would give you shit for that, but like, yeah, what is that? It was a really cool shot. It was a really cool shot. But before he can even, like, call the guys behind him, Lisa Trevor shows up and goes, And he's like, fucking Jesus. Lisa, who has just been walking around for decades, still walking around, chat, for decades. And she shows up there, and she's like, shh. And he's like, huh? What the fuck are you? Hey, guys, there's like a hunchback woman here. And he's like, shh, quiet. And he's yelling everything. And he's like, Claire, Chief Irons, get over here. And they finally walk over. He's like, there's this. Oh, where'd she go? She pulled another fucking Batman check. How does she do this? How? And they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he's like, I swear to God, there was like this weird, crazy monster girl right here. Oh, no. And then Claire's like having a flashback. Oh, Lisa? Is it Lisa after all these years? But we're distracted by that, chat, because Chief Irons, he hears this behind him, and he looks up. Boom! He gets fucking nommed down by a liquor, chat. Its big old tongue slurps him up. You know, all of his white thickness, chat. He's like, oh. And I like Chief Irons. He's the best character in the movie so far, so I kind of feel bad that he dies here, though I guess he's kind of a villain at this point, maybe, I don't know. But they're like, Claire and, Leon are like, are you okay, Chief Irons? And his fucking severed head falls on the ground. He's all, and then they're like, holy shit. Because the liquor starts coming down the ceiling at him. And Leon's like, and he starts shooting at the liquor. And the liquor's like, we have no explanation of what the fuck this thing is. It just shows up out of the blue. You're like, how did it get here? How did it escape the facility? What facility did it come from? Like, we just don't know, chat. Duck Henry Stefan, thank you so much for the 104 biddies. How many times do you roll your eyes during this? A lot. A lot. I'm just like, all right, here we go. This is the last 20 minutes of the movie, chat, and they're fucking speeding through it. It's like, just throw everything you can at the movie. Just fucking liquor. Why is the liquor here? Because even the Resident Evil 2 games, when the liquor first appears, like, okay, what the fuck are those things? But we learn about them later on. It's like, oh, these are part of the experiments in the nest, and they're called liquors. That's one of the code names of the people. That's what they named them. They have another name, and they're a bioweapon. Here, you don't know what the fuck they are. Like, for people that, like, the best kind of video game adaptation, chat, are the ones where you don't need to know anything about the game to enjoy it. Because they still do a great job of explaining everything that's happening to you. They explain the world and the lore and the characters. Like, those are the great kind of adaptations where you don't necessarily need to have read or watched or played the original source material, right? This one, you have to. You have to know this shit. Like, this movie, I in a way, it's for the fans because you need to rely on that fan knowledge. If you don't, you're like, I don't know what the fuck that thing is. I have no idea what's going on. But Leon, he fires his gun. He misses every fucking shot. And the liquor's, like, on top of him. And it's trying to just bite his pretty adorable face off, chap. But all of a sudden, fucking Lisa Trevor comes in there with the steel chair. Literally, chat, she has a steel chair. She hits the fucking liquor with it. And then she rides this goddamn thing, beating the shit out of it. You ever thought you were going to see Lisa Trevor, chat, fight a liquor? It turns into WWE. She literally puts this thing into a headlock, and she's battling this thing. She's fucking throwing punches with it, and her hands are, for whatever reason, they're caught in that thing. She's going like this and stuff. And Liquor's like, oh, God, what the fuck? This hunchback bitch came out of nowhere. And eventually, she ends up back on top of it, puts her, like, wooden board handcuffs inside of its mouth, and just rips its, like, top of its head off. And she kills the liquor, chat. She kills the liquor. And Claire's like, Lisa Trevor. And Lisa's like, and she's like, I've missed you, Lisa. And they hug, and it's like, Leon's like, you have some weird friends, which is actually a fun line. And she's like, come with me, Claire, secret tunnel. And she's like, all right, secret tunnel. And so they go to the room that she saw Lisa Trevor in all those decades ago. Flashback shit. And Lisa produces a ring of keys, and she's like, second key, safe tunnel. And she opens the door, which inside this classroom is this giant industrial-sized elevator that apparently goes down. Oh, that's the thing. Chief Irons says this. Where he says, there is a secret tunnel that connects the orphanage to the Spencer mansion. And so you just assume that he's known about all these horrific experiments for years, because then him and Claire argue in the background. But we don't hear that conversation because we see Leon, who's fucking very curious at this point. And she opens the elevator for him, and opens up, and the two of them walk in. And Lisa's just like, Claire's like, thank you, Lisa. And like, it almost feels like Lisa tried to get, she's like, no, only room for two, Lisa. Sorry. And Lisa's like, friend Claire, you're my friend too, Lisa. And the door's just shut. And so Lisa just fucking dies, I assume, in the earthquake explosion. Then she's just like, I guess I'm gonna die now. Like, I don't know. It's like, she's just like, all right, you can go. I've done my duty. I can die here peacefully. Like, it's just confusing. Like, that's the last time we see Lisa. Like, in the original game, you have to kill her, or she falls off into that abyss, or she finds her mother's skull and she kills herself. Here, she's just like, okay, I've saved the pretty people, so I'm going to go ahead and die. That's it. But we don't see. There's no end. There's an end credit stare, but she's not in it. So they go in the tunnel. That's when Leon he says the line, "You have some weird friends." She goes, "I know. Tell me about it." Eventually, we cut back to Wesker, who is going down the tunnel, which fucking Claire and Leon are heading towards, and he comes upon Birkin, Annette, and Sherry Chat. And this is supposed to be the Nest facility, chat. It's a room. It's literally a fucking room. Yes, there's a cadaver on the fucking slab, and it's talking to everybody, going like, "Help me, kill me," and shit. But it looks like a morgue. That's the Nest in this movie. It's like, you gotta be kidding. The huge fucking underground facility that's in RE2 and RE3, and so awesome, and because they have all the different experiments and stuff, and it's massive. It's so different. It's so aesthetically different than what we saw previously in the game, and it's literally a room. And so he's putting these little vials of the G virus in this case, and he's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's all the G. But then he hears Wesker behind him. He's like, oh, Jesus. What are you doing here? He's like, I need that, man. I'm not going to hurt you or your family, okay? I would never do that. I'm a good guy. And he goes, this is my life's work. Please. Who hired you to take this? And literally, I love this because he's like, who hired you to take this? And Wesker says, does it even matter? And the guy goes, I guess it doesn't. No, I want to know. Please give me something. I want to, why is any of this happening? What's going on? We don't know. And so Birkin turns around. I guess it doesn't matter. And he takes the gun and he shoots Wesker in the chest. But Wesker's got body armor, man. Chad, shoot with the fucking head. And Wesker, he just plugs like 3 bullets inside of Birkin. He's like, oh. And then Annette and Sherry are like, oh no, Daddy. And he's like, give me the vial. It can save me. It can make me stronger. And, Wesker, he's putting the vials back in. He's like, all right, I'm sorry. I got to go. And then Annette's like, you can't leave. Look at him. Help him. He's like, listen, I can't help you. I'm sorry. And she's like, you're going to leave us to die, murderer. And he's like, listen, lady, please don't grab the gun because I will have to shoot you. She goes, murderer. And she's like, I see you. Ah, God damn it. Boom. Shoots her. She fucking shot in the head. But then she tried to shoot at him. And then the little girl's right there. But the little girl pulls a fucking Batman. He's like, little girl, little girl, where are you? All right, fuck it. And he's about to leave. He's going. But he hears crunching of glass. He hears some crunching of glass, and he turns around the gun, and the girl's pointing the gun at him. He's like, "Listen, just don't. I'm not gonna shoot." And he's like, and it was Jill, the person who said I would never shoot you because I love you. She shows up there and she shot him in the tummy, and he's like, oh, and he falls down. And he's like, oh my God, why'd you make me do that, Albert? He's like, I'm sorry. I couldn't want to do this. I just had to get out of here. And he's like, I wouldn't have shot you, kid. I'm the good guy. Listen, guys. There's a secret tunnel. You need to escape. You can do it. It's like, you're coming with us, Wesker. He's like, no, my time is over. I am going to pass. And he dies. And they're like, all right, let's get going. And so Chris actually has a relationship with Burke, and he's like, oh, father figure, I'm so sorry. And Sherry knows him. It's like, oh, Uncle Chris. And it's like, okay. But yeah, fucking Sherry doesn't meet Claire or Leon at all until like the very end of the movie. She runs across Chris and Jill. And so they get out of there. But then we spend some time with little baby Birkin chat, and he's getting gross. He's like, and he starts getting like the eyeball. I will say, the initial transformation of Birkin into the half Birkin abomination is kind of cool. The makeup is not bad. It's a combination of makeup and CGI. Looks pretty good. When he becomes full G-Monster, awful. Oh my God, awful. They ran out of money. Like, okay, we got nothing. We got nothing. But oh shit. Oh God. Oh yeah. So I think by this point, Chris, Jill, and Sherry, they're running away. And I think they then come across Leon and Claire, and they're like, what's going on? And they're like, we don't know, we're being chased by zombinos. We got to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, cool. But then we hear Birkin come. He's like, Chris. And he's like, don't worry, guys. He's calling my name. Therefore, I should be the only one to fight him. You go ahead and find the secret underground train tunnel. And they're like, sounds like a plan. And so everyone else leaves while fucking Chris fights just a CGI abomination, Michael McDonough, chat. And then Michael McDonough's just doing the whole villain thing where he's... Oh, I forgot the other thing, too. There's some really bad fan service in the movie right before this, before Claire and Leon come upon Chris and Jill and Sherry, where they find this old, like the room that they come out of the elevator, it's filled with all these old films, and they put in one of the films, and it's the Ashford twins, which are the villains. They're the main villains of along with Wesker of Code Veronica, and it's just Birkin just kind of jerking off while watching these two kids like rip wings off a fly and dragonfly and watching ants eat them. So this is the big setup, like, oh, the sequel's gonna be Code Veronica, maybe, who knows? Actually, I read something that makes me kind of scared. About Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4. We'll get to that. But then she fucking freaks out. It's like Umbrella's been destroying lives forever because she finds Lisa Trevor's page. And they're saying, like, highly dangerous. Be sure to capture. I love how it says in the fucking file, which is, like, decades old, be sure to capture her because she escaped. For whatever reason, Umbrella can't chase down. They can't find this hunchback abomination woman, which is weird to me. But okay. And take a shot of Wiki every time someone says, what's going on? It's literally a running gag in the movie. But she's mad and shit. Leon's like, it's okay, Claire. We're going to get Umbrella back. She says, yeah. And so then we get to the point where everyone's together. But then Chris is like, I'll fight Birkin alone. And then Birkin starts doing his monologue. He's like, Chris, I never loved you. You were always a failure. You were nothing but an experiment to me. You're lucky that our experiments, like, it's exposition. He's delivering exposition at the last minute. You're lucky our experiments made you and your sister and your fellow STARS members immune. If it was not for me, you would all be a monster. You would all be one of the failures of Raccoon City, but you're still a failure to me because I don't like you. Blah! And he attacks Chris, and his arms are all gross. But then he's like, I probably should have had my friends help me with this fight. Birkin's like, yeah, you should have. But then fucking Claire comes out of nowhere, chat. She's like, let my brother go, asshole. Boom. And she starts shooting the eyeball shoulder, chat, which is what you shoot in the game, right? Right? Shoots the eyeball shoulder. Eyes start exploding. He goes, he falls over. And he's like, Claire, please. You've always been like a daughter to me. Chris, you're like a son to me. It's like, don't do this at the last moment. What the fuck are you trying to fool? You literally told me we're failures and you want to kill us and mutate us. And she goes, you're not my dad. And she blows half of his head off. Jay's like, and he dies. And they're like, okay, let's get out of here, big brother. And they run to the train, but we hang an extra few seconds with Birkin, and we see that he's starting to mutate again. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of blah, blah, blah. But they all board the train, and that's when Sherry and Claire finally meet. And she goes, hi, my name is Sherry. And she goes, my name is Sherry Birkin. And she's like, my name is Claire Redfield. You want to help me with my brother, Chris Redfield? Yeah. And so they take care of each other for a minute while Jill and Leon, they get the train a moving. That's the thing, because it's literally 5:59 a.m. in the morning, and Raccoon City has somehow mined all of Raccoon City. I don't know how they did it, with some type of earthquake technology, and the city starts to like create a massive sinkhole. So we get these wide shots of the Spencer mansion like falling. It doesn't explode; it falls into a sinkhole. All the buildings across the city fall in the city. Like, shouldn't you like destroy, burn it so there's no evidence? Like, that's why the nuclear explosion made sense to me when the fucking United States government sends that fucking nuclear missile and wipes it all off the fucking map. Here it's just like, we'll just dig in the fucking hole and we'll find all the abomination. It doesn't matter. They get the train moving and they're going down the track and they're almost right to where we had a really, I feel like, comedic moment where we see a CGI cow that gets it's like it goes ass first. It's like it's blasted ass first and it spins. It does a fucking cartwheel in the sky from the energy of the earthquake machine that Umbrella used. It goes, it just cartwheels. It's like, why was that in there? You did not need to spend money. That extra CGI money on that cow could have been spent on the Birkin abomination we're about to see. But no, fucking this director, Johannes Rodriguez, what the hell his name? He's like, I want a CGI cow doing a cartwheel in the sky. Okay. And so, where are we? Oh yeah, they're in the train and, there's this big, massive fake CGI explosion chasing them, and it derails the train. And stops, and they're going, oh no, what's going on? And so then they hear something on top of the train and smashing into the train. And they're like, what? And then it's Birkin. He's a big CGI monster. And it's the one you saw from the trailers. It's that big one where everyone went, ooh, that looks really bad. That's the monster. And you see like his little face in the armpit and he goes, Sherry, it's me, your dad. I love you. It's like, I don't think so, Daddy. And he grabs Claire and starts like whacking her against the side of the train. Chris is like, no. And Jill's like, oh God, we're all gonna die. And then Leon's like, hold on, everybody, I'm gonna do something competent. And he pulls out a rocket launcher, which he found earlier, but we did not see on his person. And he goes, get out of the way, guys. It's about to get a little hot in here. And then Birkin's like, no. Fires the rocket launcher, kills Birkin, and everyone's like, whoa, Leon, where did you get a rocket launcher? He's like, just something I picked up in first class. Which, to be fair, that is something Leon would say in the games. He loves his dumb little dad jokes. He's a dad joke kind of guy. And I was like, that's the first time that he was Leon in any capacity, Shannon, any capacity. But it's like, but you've been an asshole the whole time. You've been an incompetent piece of shit the whole time. After that, we cut to a screen where it's Umbrella's like, oh, the fucking destruction of Raccoon City was a great success. Everybody's dead. Civilian casualties, the entire population. How do you know the entire population is dead? How do you know this? Because they say, like, there's no survivors, 0 survivors, but then we see the whole team. We see fucking Claire and Leon and Chris and Jill and Sherry walk out of the tunnel, chat, and there are some survivors, chat, and it's like, oh shit, what adventures are they gonna get up to next time? We don't know, because it cuts to black, Resident Evil, but the movie's not over, because we go through the credit sequence, so all the actors, the director, written, directed, produced by, etc., but then we cut to a room, a really shitty looking cheap room where a body bag's on the table, and this person starts like, starts to try to get out of the body bag and rips himself out, and it's Wesker. It's Wesker's, who is butt-ass naked, chat. He falls off the table, chat, starts crawling on the ground, and he starts screaming like, where am I? Where am I? What's going on? And this person, who I'm like, I didn't think anyone else could be, like, in terms of acting, maybe as bad as the truck driver from earlier, but holy shit, the actress who plays Ada Wong, spoiler, Ada Wong is in this movie and for 30 seconds, and every piece of dialogue she's given, I'm like, oh, it just sucks out your soul a little bit. You kind of die inside each time. And she goes, it is okay. You are safe here. He's like, I thought I died. He goes, in a way, you did die, Albert Wesker. He's like, why can't I see? It is an effect of what we did to you. And she hands him the sunglasses, and he puts the sunglasses on, and it's like, oh, it's Wesker with the sunglasses. And I guess he's super sensitive to light now. and that's why he wears the sunglasses. Okay. I guess, I thought it was just he wore them because he's a douchebag. That's what I always thought. It's like, oh, it's part of his character. Of course he does. I'm going to wear these inside. And he's like, why, Wesker? Because they're cool. It's like, no, they're not. But yeah, because he's very sensitive to light at this point. And he's like, who are you? And she goes, who am I? I am 801. And we have a lot of work to do. Resident Evil Raccoon City. That's it, Chad. That's how the movie ends. That's how the movie ends. Resident Evil 2 now leaving Raccoon. That should have been the fucking. They should have done. What's going on? Oh, and there you go, Chad. That is Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. So yeah, yes. You can say, is it aesthetically similar to the games? To an extent, sure. In the most inexpensive way possible. It's cheap. This movie is fucking cheap. You can tell. $25 million budget, I believe it. How they used their budget, not well, in my opinion. There were a couple of scenes, couple of shots. I'm like, you know what? They were smart. They were clever in certain ways. As I said, there were a handful of scenes I thought, this is interesting. The one where the truck driver walks out and he's on fire and they're playing that 90s music. I was like, this is pretty funny. I like this. It's like, oh, and that's totally like a B-movie thing for Resident Evil. I'm like, this was smart. How they showcase the liquor, like moving the overhead lights, but you don't see it. And like, okay, there's something coming towards us, but we don't know what it is. That's really clever. And that's what they should do. That's what they should do when it's like, okay, we have a low budget. We got to use our resources right. We'll hide just enough. We'll have some fun, memorable scenes. I'm like, okay, there are like little bits, little pieces of this movie. I'm like, I like that, but not enough. There's like 3 or 4 of those in the film. But overall, it's just a disappointment. All the characters are bland. They're just there to, their dialogue is just exposition or to repeat certain gags over and over and over again. Claire's character is just like, I'm mad at Umbrella. Chris Redfield's character is like, I am a bland protagonist, which he kind of already is. But at the same time, it's like, fuck, man, do something. Jill is crazy. That's her thing, which is weird for Jill. She's not really like that. And she's horny for Wesker. Leon is an incompetent until the very last minute. And that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Birkin's barely in the movie. He's like, whatever character. Funny enough, the best character in the movie is Chief Irons, is Donald Logue. Who would have thought Chief Irons in a Resident Evil film adaptation would be your favorite character? But he was. I felt like he's like, I kind of know what I'm in. I'm having fun. And he was good. I wish he survived the events of the fucking movie. I didn't mind him at all. Yeah, no Barry. Barry not in the movie. You had Richard and you had Brad. And both of them got. No Barry. Yeah, too bad. No Marvin. Marvin's not in it. All the action scenes aside from like a handful or like moments, not even action scenes, but just like clever moments that preceded awful action scenes. Just not enough. Yeah, it's a really bad adaptation of Resident Evil, chat. And again, the biggest flaw, and was my concern as soon as I heard it. For how long have I been saying, chat, that the idea of combining Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 was bad? It's like, why are you doing that? That is so much content you're trying to fit into one movie. So much. And it hurts it. If you just concentrated on one of the games. If you just did one and then you did a sequel, hey, let's do Resident Evil 2. That makes sense. You could have consolidated resources, had some really cool scares in there and sequences. You had some clever ideas for certain things, but why did you stretch yourselves so fucking thin by combining both of these games? Because no one gets enough time. And when you're with the group for long, you're like, oh, fucking shit, yeah, there's this other thing going on. You forget about the other group time and time again, especially the Resident Evil 1 group. Jill and Chris are just so boring in this movie. Like, oh, fuck, okay. I guess we're back with them. It's a big misfire, chat. I don't know if it's quite a fuck you for me. It's bad. It's really bad. Because there were certain scenes that made me go like, I like that. All right, I like that. But few and far between. But yeah, overall, it's a low sumo bullshit. Yeah, it's a low sumo bullshit. Definitely one of the worst movies of the year. Definitely in my top 10. The Paul W.S. Anderson films are better. Of the ones I've seen the first 4. And the first Resident Evil 1 is much better than this. I give that like a high rental. Apocalypse is bad, but I think I even like Apocalypse better than this. 3, again, high rental. I like that. Afterlife is probably some old bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, this is all the Resident Evil movies that I've seen, the live action ones, which is at this point 5. I have yet to see the other 2 Mila Jovovich Resident Evil films. So those might be worse than this, but I gotta give this a low sum. This is definitely the worst of the movies so far, in my opinion. It's just boring. That's the thing. It's so fucking boring. Why would a Resident Evil movie be boring? It's literally you're fighting zombies and monsters, with over the top characters. That should be really fun. Maybe it's dumb. Maybe it's really stupid, sure, but it should be fun, and it's not fucking fun. And that's a huge problem. So, Miss Anderson's starting The Wife is Bad, and someone came along, wanted to stay with source material made a worse. I think it's a worse movie, chat. For me, Eddie Berserker, Resident Evil, hands down, hands the story to you on a gold player. Director immediately shits in the play. Yeah, I know. It's like just do adaptation of the first game. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I thought Netflix was going to do a live-action series before, not some boring 4-hour series. Oh, they are. They're going to be doing that. Oh, that CGI movie's awful, too. But they're doing that live-action series. That's coming. Yeah. He wants to basically, he talked about it. So I've heard some weird things. So he wants to make Code Veronica, but he also wants to make Resident Evil 4. Now, is he going to do that shit where he combines them, Code Veronica and 4? Because that makes no sense. If he pulls that fucking shit with those 2 games, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You can't do that. Those stories they're so separated from, yes, they do take place in Europe, but they're countries away from each other. Don't do it. And I cannot see how this Leon is going to be the Leon we see in 4. Unless it's a comedy. They're not going to make a sequel. They're not going to make a sequel to this. This is it. They'll try again. He's going to shoot the Granados in the ass. I mean, because they said, and that Ada, wow, the actress they got to play is Ada. I'm like, you have to recast. If they do it, you get recast her. Oh, my God. She's the worst actor in the movie. And she has like 30 seconds of screen time. Let me see. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City box office. It might be cheap, Chip, and I don't think it's going to be enough for them to recoup anything. No one likes this movie. All right. Let's see here. Resident Evil box office. So worldwide, $3.5 million, chat. As of, I guess today, at the very least. So we'll see. We'll see. So I thought this was on Netflix. There's a Netflix adaptation coming. There's a live action series coming. I think it'll be out next year. Yeah, so that's not. There's not going to be a sequel. There's going to be no sequel to this. I'd be shocked if they make it. They're not going to make any money back on it. There's one guy I know who likes it, and I usually don't trust his opinion on stuff. Code Veronica takes place 3 months after RE2, and RE4 is like years later. And how in the fuck can you combine it? Hey, he did it to this. He did it with these 2. He did it with these 2. That might happen. So, yeah, Chad, I was not a fan, to say the least. That was a long fucking review. I knew it would be. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry if I sound a little exasperated during the review, Chad. I was just tired. I was just like, and then this fucking happened, and then this fucking happened, and you know. I was just like, oh, I'm just tired. Oh my Lord. A lot of sighing to that. Yeah, it's definitely on my worst of list at this point. Your review was great. This movie's not. Thank you, Berserker. Thank you. Chat, check out Berserker streams. Give her some support. In the meantime, Chat, I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be posting something new on my Patreon right now. Chat, I'm doing this live. I'm going to do this live. The video version of Plane, Trains, and Automobiles is ready to go. And so I'm just going to do this really, really quick for all those who are interested in that. And then we're going to transition over to some Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you, because at the 10 days, I'll read your comment in just a second. Just making a quick posting, chat. Yes. To all my very, very kind and generous patrons. Making sure everything's up there as it should be. And I'll read your comments in just a second. Yeah. What's going on? Where are you? Where are you? I need you. There we go. God. that one. There we go, chat. Gotta make sure to save it. Here we go. Put that into private mode. Save. Nice. Title card's looking good. Boom, boom, boom. There's the link. 26. Gonna schedule this to. Let's schedule that to go out at what's 10. Okay, let's do. I'm gonna have that posted at 10:30. Chat. Boom, boom. Nailed it. There you go. Oh my lord. Us listening to you describe this movie. What's going on? That's what it is. It's part of the gag of the film because everyone asks that question multiple times. They don't know. They don't know what's going on. Steve, I just finished my review. My friend just got done with it. All the our YouTubers who defend the film hates it now. So yeah, the movie was due from the start. Oh really? Were they? Yeah, I think you mentioned that the other day, right? They were all defending it first. And I was like, I was not one of those people. I was like, I do not like what I see. From the beginning, I had many concerns about this film. And if for those of you that liked the movie, you liked it. No, I'm not, taking away from you, of course. But for myself, I was not a fan. I was not a fan, chat. I thought it could have been much, much better. Oh my lord, he thinks throwing in the elements of the games makes it good, just like references. That's what they all are. Like I saw like a video like catch all the Easter eggs in Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. What? All the Easter eggs are the movie. That's what the movie is. It's this thing and this thing and this thing and that thing. And here's the doll. Here it is. Here's the tape of the Ashford twins. That's what it all is. It's like the whole movie is references and Easter eggs. Not subtle. Yeah. Oh, my God. Did you clap when you saw that? I did not. An audience did not clap. They did not. They were bored. Honest fucking bored. Like, I had that one couple who were black, who initially were going, hell no, don't go in there. And they stopped doing that because they got bored. And I thought, oh, okay, this is gonna make the movie better. I was actually excited about that, but even they're like, there's nothing fucking happening. There's nothing fucking happening. I was like, no. Yeah. So it's like those shitty comic movies in the 90s where they just throw in random references that make no sense. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. It's not an Easter egg if they rub it in your face like a dog who shit the carpet. That's right. That's right. 69 viewers. Nice. Nice. But like I said, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to switch over to some Guardians of the Galaxy. Going to probably, if not finish it tonight, I'll probably finish it by Monday. That's what I'll do it. Let me just make a few changes. In the meantime, chat, why don't you look at something truly terrifying, something scarier than Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, the Dirty Sonic Boy. So make a few fixes.